Miscellaneous minds, never explaining the minds. Devilish grin for my alias, aliens who respond. Peddling sin, thinking maybe when you get old you realize I'm not gonna fold or demise. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it.
What is going on, everybody? This is the Miscellaneous Minds podcast. I'm your co-host, Boom Gato, the cat that hands your IBF title back. And to my left of here is the main man, Jesus De Niro, the man that makes the fat stacks. Together we form the dynamic duo that won't die. Deadly ideas, brother, and spicier content than your girl's only fans. What is going on, everybody? Before we get into tonight's topic, please make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and with that, let's get right into it. So, as my man here just said, we have two warriors going up to get a chance to fight for the IBF title. Who are we talking about here? We're talking about Vasyl Lomachenko and George Kambosos. Now, listen, I'll be honest with you. I have a little bit of a beef with this particular one. If you guys go back a few years, you will remember that at that time, Vasyl Lomachenko was the man to beat. Vasyl Lomachenko was the unified champion who was defeated by Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez then had a fight against George Kambosos in which he lost, much to the surprise of almost the entirety of the boxing world, obviously not counting George and his training camp. Listen, the reason that I have a little bit of a beef with, don't get me wrong, I accept it. I like the fight. I'm not mad at the fight being made at all. What I am a little bothered by is I think there hasn't been enough discussion about the fight between Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos. Listen, I think that particular night was the best possible performance for George Kambosos and the worst possible performance for Teofimo Lopez. So what do I mean by that is, listen, if you look at who Teofimo Lopez has faced ever since his loss to Kambosos, I would argue, with the exception of maybe Sandor Martin, Teofimo Lopez has faced better competition than George Kambosos has faced. Now, don't get me wrong, I know George Kambosos went up against Devin Haney and he lost to Devin Haney twice, but I feel like that proves my point. George Kambosos on that night had the best possible performance he could have, and Teofimo had the worst possible performance he could have. You could blame it on a number of things. Maybe Teofimo thought, hey, I'm going to beat this guy easily. He just didn't focus enough, didn't train enough, whatever you want to use. But hey, look, listen. I know Teofimo Lopez said that he had some lung problems, I believe that it was, some issues, some injuries going in. So maybe that's what it was. Regardless, why am I bringing this up in reference to this fight? So realistically, George Kambosos is the man that beat the man. Generally speaking, when that happens, we all say, hey, he's the top, top tier. But I'll be honest with you, I personally don't think George Kambosos is that top tier opponent. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to disrespect him, man, because again, he's a boxer and I respect that nonetheless. But when you look at who Vasyl Lomachenko has faced, the body of work that Vasyl Lomachenko has put up compared to the body of work that George Kambosos has put up, I'm going to definitely lean on the side of Vasyl Lomachenko being the winner of this fight. Now, again, a lot of people will make that argument. Kambosos was the man that beat the man. And that's a fair argument. But again, to me, this is a little bit of a mismatch. I personally think Vasyl Lomachenko is going to win. I will say this, Lomachenko has slowed down. He's getting a little bit older now, especially for a boxer. So I do notice a noticeable slowdown in Vasyl Lomachenko. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that Vasyl Lomachenko will still win. I still personally have Vasyl Lomachenko winning. And then how well, I don't know, but I do think Vasyl Lomachenko is going to win. That's not a slight to Kambosos. I still think Kambosos is a great guy. I just don't feel he's that top of the tier elite to be able to beat these types of fighters. What do you think about that, my man?
If there was a style I could compare Vasyl Lomachenko's boxing style to, I would have to do this analysis. Imagine if someone were to give you a sniper rifle and decided to mod it to have machine gun fire. That is basically how I saw Vasyl Lomachenko, in which this man not only likes to snipe out, he likes to dissect absolute boxing defense and likes to do it with flurries. And to be honest, the man picks apart, and the man can do it almost scientifically. Does it have a lot of power behind it? Again, that's kind of debatable, but compared to Kambosos Jr., who is more of a swarmer and a bit of a flurry, it definitely does seem that Kambosos is going to test Vasyl Lomachenko's defense a lot. And while I think if the age of Vasyl Lomachenko was to be put into question, I think the first thing to go would be the power, not necessarily the speed. He can still be Vasyl Lomachenko can still be fast, but again, the biggest things that Lomachenko is going to have to overcome is the power and also the stamina of a George Kambosos. Obviously, again, the flurries are going to test his defense, so he's probably going to be on the guard most of the time. But personally, I do believe Lomachenko is going to take it. At the very least, to a decision. I don't see it going to a knockout finish, but I do think Lomachenko is going to land more of the landed punches. Again, Kambosos is going to throw out more punches than Lomachenko is, but I think Lomachenko is going to be more so on the scoring offense. He's going to land more of the punches, and that's how I see the fight going towards it. What do you think? Am I off in that, or what do you think about my fight analysis?
No, I think that's fair, bro. Listen, if you pay attention to who Lomachenko is, the man is definitely a sniper. You are correct on that. So I would completely agree with you on that facet. I think based on his previous body of work, I think it's safe to say that Lomachenko does bring that, as you said, that sniper mentality, that, high accuracy, that good movement, all that good stuff. I think a lot of stuff like the movement, everyone rates super highly, so I don't think everyone really needs to talk about it. Lomachenko has always had phenomenal movement. Listen, I to not do Kambosos a disservice, like you said, he flurries, he bunches, he swarms, he tries to apply that pressure, but I think a lot of times that's where Lomachenko does some of his best work, is against these pressure fighters. If you look at a lot of his previous fights, a lot of people that he kind of put down, the Rigondeaux, so on and so forth, there were people that try to swarm him. There were people that try to get in there and really, put the pressure on him. So I think it's great great for Lomachenko that Kambosos has that type of style, because I think it's where he does his best body of work. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I think you gave definitely a fair analysis on that. I definitely feel like it's going to be a good match to watch. Again, we've seen some surprises in boxing in the last few weeks, so maybe this could be another one. Maybe Kambosos will prove that he really was the man that beat the man. We'll see. Again, Kambosos has a lot of heart, which is the best thing that I can definitely rate about him. Other than that, though, again, listen, when you look at the elites of the boxing game, at least in that particular division at that time, the Devin Haney's, the Lomachenkos, at that time, Teofimos, the Gervonta, so on and so forth, I think it's a matter of does Kambosos fit in that picture? And I think it's pretty safe to say that most of the community would think Kambosos doesn't fit that. Again, no disrespect to the man. I like him. He's a good man. Outside the ring, I think he's a phenomenal person, as far as at least what I've seen. But to think that he can beat Lomachenko, I think that's a stretch. I do definitely have Lomachenko winning. Again, he could surprise us. Again, Lomachenko has slowed down, but has he slowed down enough? I don't think so, not quite yet. I think he's definitely on his way to that, that slowdown, maybe that exit ramp on this boxing journey. But listen, if it holds up, I do personally believe, if he holds up, I do personally believe that Lomachenko is going to win this fight. Is there anything else you want to add to that, my man?
Yes, definitely for Lomachenko. The stakes for this is definitely a little bit high because, like you said, there definitely does seem to be the rock, paper, scissors, that whole three-fighter. He beats him, but he beats him, and also he beats him with Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, and of course, George Kambosos. For Lomachenko, it seems to be there's more stake on the line, not just for the lightweight title, but just to add punctuation to that, to say there is no rock, paper, scissors. It's just me. It's always been me. I just had a bad night. And to be honest, that's what it's at stake for him. And the thing that Lomachenko is fighting is not just that, not for the title, but also time itself. Because in order for that rock, paper, scissors to be fully cemented and say that it's a complete hoax, he needs to win this fight, and he needs to win against Teofimo Lopez again. So if Teofimo Lopez comes for that lightweight title, Vasyl Lomachenko needs to put not just the punctuation on this match against George Kambosos, but also against Teofimo Lopez.
Oh, man, that's never going to happen. Teofimo's never going to go back down. Teofimo Lopez is comfortable. He's a champion at 140. So I don't ever see that happen. I think that's kind of set in stone. But, again, at that time when they were all in that same division, I do think Lomachenko was definitely pushing for it. I just don't think I think Teofimo Lopez got away with the win. And don't get me wrong, he definitely won that fight. I think Lomachenko turned it up way too late in the fight, and Teofimo definitely beat him out of rounds. But I do know that Loma was definitely trying to push for that rematch, and it just never happened. And again, I personally would put that a little bit more on Teo's side. But hey, look, Teofimo's dad said it best. They never put it in there What he basically said, if we would have lost, would they have given us a rematch? And the truth is, Lomachenko probably wouldn't have given him a rematch if they won. But hey, I understand what you're saying. Realistically, Loma has to beat Kambosos to prove. Look, listen, maybe that Teofimo Lopez was a fluke. Either way, look, it's gonna be a good match. I definitely advise you guys all to watch it. It's gonna be a good one to keep an eye on and see how that kind of changes that division. Again, I do personally think Loma's on the not the exit ramp, but he's definitely in that lane to take that exit ramp for his career because he is getting up there in age. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one.